Pedro Martinez will forever be known as an 8-time All-Star, 3-time Cy Young Award winner, and a slam dunk choice for induction into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. But for fans of the Reading Phillies, their favorite memory of Pedro came on August 5th, 2009, when he made a rehab start at First Energy Stadium.
The fact that the Philadelphia Phillies were doing so well and Pedro was an established Hall of Fame guy, even at that point in his career, everybody knew that he was one of the greatest pitchers of all time. And to see him pitching at this level, it was an incredible experience. So people were really jazzed about that.
When I drove up to come to the ballpark at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, people were outside and cars everywhere. It was crazy.
The buzz leading up to the game, what an electric atmosphere. The game sold out in advance. People calling in, making up call letters from bogus radio stations to try and get a press pass just to come in and see what's going on.
As a Phillies fan, exciting. Being in the ticket office is absolutely insane. I can't remember any time we've had such a large number of tickets sold in such a short time for a game.
I had family and friends in the pool deck area. Planned months in advance, just happened to be there that night, and Pedro happens to come that night. My son at the time was 10, 11, 12, really into baseball. His friends were really into baseball. He had some teammates from his team there, and there they were hanging out over the wall and in right field watching Pedro Martinez get loose in the bullpen before the game.
I played left field that game. I've never seen this stadium that crowded. People were hanging by the bar down there in left field. People were hanging on poles, and you couldn't see any open standing room.
The one thing that I hated to see was the fact that we had actually turned people away for that game. It was the first time I ever remember, and only time ever since, that we had to tell people, sorry, we can't let you in. Even during the game, the people that couldn't get in were even just congregating outside. There was just a big crowd out in front of the ticket windows and the main gate almost all game long.
The official crowd of 9,953 was the largest in stadium history. But the fans weren't the only ones excited to experience Pedro Mania.
What a thrill for the Reading players at the time.
We know that there's a multi-Cy Young Award winner sitting there. It's pretty cool to be in the same clubhouse and same dugout as him. Before the game, he didn't say much. He sat at his locker. He did sign some autographs for guys. Guys, if they wanted an autograph, he signed it. But he was quiet and low key. He was a little standoffish. Looking back, before the game, he was locked in. Even though it was a double-A game and you're talking about a guy that pitched in the World Series, he wasn't taking it lightly.
Visiting Trenton would find out just how serious Martinez was, as he struck out all 9 Thunder starters at least once.
And he didn't even have his great stuff yet. He was still getting his arm back in 100% pitching shape, you could see. But what I remember was that pinpoint control. Pedro could put the ball wherever he wanted, and then that Bugs Bunny changeup to go along with it. Once he settled in, he made a lot of those hitters look stupid.
Towards the end of the game was when we went out to work on the mound, you didn't even know anybody was out there because Pedro, as a pitcher, was so balanced. He wasn't one of these big, heavy guys throwing full of thrust and making holes all over the place. He was just nice and balanced, and it was like he's out there wearing tennis shoes.
He didn't disappoint. He's definitely a showman. He's definitely an entertainer. He was a lot of fun to be around. He definitely takes his craft very seriously, and I think he felt the energy, from that capacity crowd at the time, record crowd.
Pedro finished with 11 Ks and the win as the Phils prevailed 8-4. He left the game after 6 innings to a clubhouse full of media, hungry to talk to a man who would help the Big Phils to their 2nd straight World Series appearance later that season.
Afterward, the plan was to bring him into the home clubhouse after he pitched 6 or 7 innings and to do the interview with the media. And there were quite a few. There must have been, 20 reporters and cameramen. Pedro comes out of the game around the 7th inning, and by the time he, iced down and got ready, those last 3 innings got played really quickly, and as we're in the middle of the interview, the game ends, and all of the Reading players come into their home clubhouse, and it was quite a frantic scene.
And I just remember the clubhouse being so packed with media, and he's doing his interview session as the game's about to end, and there's another 40 people that got to get into a jam-packed clubhouse, and we were literally move the media, packed horde of media out through the back door of the clubhouse at the time because the players were starting to come off the field. There's no way both groups could have gone out the one door, so we had to move them all back in just to get everybody to fit. It was just one of those crazy nights, but yeah, just electric is how I could describe the atmosphere here that night.
On the list of special nights in this ballpark, that's got to be right at the top.
Pedro Martinez's Rehab, another of Reading's many golden moments.